All right, we understand that there could be another $800 million in military aid for Ukraine coming from the United States. The president is going to meet with the Joint Chiefs at the Pentagon tomorrow. Retired Army Major John Spencer, chair of the Urban Warfare Studies at the Madison Policy Forum, author of Connected Soldiers, with us now. John, you think about Kyiv, spent some time there. You'd almost think of it a little bit like Pittsburgh. You've got valleys, you've got mountains, you've got urban environments and the like. Then you think about the eastern part of Ukraine. It's a little bit like Kansas and not the urban area, the much more rural part of Kansas. What's going to be the difference, and how does the advantage shift between what we saw for the first couple of weeks of the war and then this new phase?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the Ukraine is a very flat country, especially in the eastern part of Ukraine. I mean, all roads still lead to urban, to be frank, Leland. I do think that the major objectives are still going to be urban terrain like Kramatorsk and Izium and the other cities. But you're right, the ranges between these cities are great, and they're not metropolises. They're great distances where the Russians can use their artillery, and they have thousands of artillery tubes, and they're longer range systems to try to close the distance and encircle the Ukrainian fighters inside of that pocket, which is the Donbas.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we look at the maps, there's 20,000 or so Ukrainians, maybe more now as they've brought in reinforcements in the eastern part of the country, and the Russians have formed this giant sea around them. We understand the Russians have already cut off one group of Ukrainian fighters and closed in on them. How worried are we that it would not take much for the Russians to connect north and south on this map?
I mean, of course we're worried. I mean, the fight started days ago. This is a literal fight for this part of Ukraine. I think we're worried, but there's a great amount of distance there. And the Ukrainians are fighting valiantly, just as they did at the beginning of this war, and can strike Russians that are trying to move into positions. And we've already got reports of counterattacks happening as we speak. So I'm worried, of course, if we don't get them the supplies now, not next week, Leland, not 2 weeks from now, like tonight, then there is that possibility, yes.
What do you make so far of at least what we've heard as Russian successes in the eastern part of the country? Is that to bode not well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous situation. And I mean, I guess we're not taking Zelensky's call for like, look, the time is now, the time is out. I'm not asking for anybody to fight for us. They're asking for the weapons to fight. And you do see the Russians making this last-ditch effort and throwing...
I got to interrupt you. I keep hearing, obviously, no one in the middle of war is going to say, I have enough, okay? There's never been a general or a leader who's ever said that since time began. But at least so far, we're not hearing of any shortages of weapons or of ammunition by the Ukrainians.
What are you talking about? President Zelensky did a video like 2 days ago. He said, look, here are the exact weapons with infographics. I need artillery. I need mortar rounds. Look at the numbers on papers. The Ukrainians are outnumbered by 10-1 in tanks and artillery and men. The only qualitative chance they have isn't, they're not going to get more fighters. They need bigger weapons, more the drones that can take out big things, longer range artillery like rockets, not just artillery. I mean, artillery is still only 18 miles out. And like we said, you're talking 40, 50 miles of closing in. And as you see the circle on that map, closing in, but there's still great distances. I mean,
we're watching the last video of the last holdouts in Mariupol. And you can see what Russian artillery has done to not only much of that city, but this last area, which is one of the Azov factories in Mariupol. Hey, Major, it's good to see you as always. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.